Last year, I talked about the MTV VMAs, the Video Music Awards, on one of my podcasting this point last year. And one of the things that really was fascinating to me was just I wanted to see what they were going to do with that show, given the pandemic and where we were in the pandemic, and how well it turned out. Because I think they did a fantastic job being able to put out a 2-hour performance that really was unique and different and just really came out good. And they've done really well when it comes to finding someone to basically be the host of the event, doing very well. And also just the style and just the things that they decided to do to go ahead and put forward who was going to go ahead and be front and center. And, really MTV taking the chance to go ahead and show what the pulse of popular music is here in the States, in America. When you see where like the Brit Awards are done in the UK and how much of a difference there is right there. Or you're seeing others that, in other countries and just seeing where, what music is popular and how music is such, really just has a big emphasis where it doesn't so much have here. Because people could just basically go to wherever they want to, whatever streaming service they want, or YouTube, and listen to whatever music they want. And so it's kind of just a freewheeling kind of deal without anybody really being capable of putting out the pulse of music, because radio does a horrible job. BBC Radio in the UK does an incredible job. Energy over in say Europe, say or either Sweden or Romania or whatever, there's different stations and different groups that are out there that do that. And when it comes to the magazines, yeah, Billboard is good with it, but giving us the visual so we can actually see what's going on. MTV, the one time of the year where we actually see about 3 hours worth of quality music performances. I mean, don't get me wrong. BET has its run with the Hip Hop Awards and the BET Awards, but that's a different, it's not an overall, blanketing of the entire American popular music. It's only certain couple of sectors. But here, it's all over the place. And when you look at what they did, they're focusing on charts of having everybody out there that you can notice. And, that's good. I mean, you have that. You're looking at what they're trying to do when it comes to everything. So last night, a difference was from the pandemic show last year to this year was that MTV had just celebrated 40 years on the air. So you did have a Blast of the Past, Cyndi Lauper, Madonna appearing at the show. They go all the way up to, Ashanti Ja Rule. They go to Avril Lavigne. They definitely go generation to generation, focusing on stars to put it out there. Lil Nas X won Video of the Year. Justin Bieber also came out and performed. You had a lot of good performances. Olivia Rodrigo, Lil Nas X, Camila Cabello, Chloe, among others. Busta Rhymes with a good performance. Best pop song goes to Peaches for Justin Bieber, Daniel Caesar, and Giveon. Olivia Rodrigo won for her song, won Best New Artist, and won for her song Driver's License, and also performed really well. Billie Eilish was in attendance. Won Best Latin Video for her collaboration with Rosalia. And like I said, Lil Nas X really did put a lot of control. We really had one of the most, that and the Chloe performance were the ones that were like very hyper-sexed, which is normal. Like you want to give the shock and awe of a show, that was going to be it. So that worked out fine. Doja Cat was a very good host. Just like the last show with Keke Palmer, I think she definitely served a role, but I think Doja Cat definitely showed versatility, showed personality, definitely didn't mind making fun of herself or being playful or, showing sexy, showing corny, showing, it just worked. There's a likability about Doja Cat across the board. And it's amazing where she comes on there and was pretty comfortable in the hosting as the MC. And, when you look at what she's done on TikTok, when she's done with her videos or how she's been, just to be interviewed or just, her presence in her public persona and how she just comes across, she's a bit of a throwback to what musical artists really knew what was going on. And you could kind of tell she was a bit of a fan of back in the day, because you could really refer back to great moments in MTV Video Music Awards history and things like that. It's great. We did have a little bit of back and forth with Machine Gun Kelly and Conor McGregor at the red carpet, which was fun. So a little bit of the backstage shenanigans was fun. And what was also good was some of the people that they had featured to go ahead and do the presentation to people who were going to be showing up, either musical performances or people that were going to be presenting awards. So the choice of the artists that they brought on, 21 Pilots or Foo Fighters, who got the Global Icon Award, that was great. A nice little throwback. And definitely stayed towards the pop end. But then they also, when it really hit, they gave a little bit of love to K-pop, but just basically just a chance to get BTS on the show. And, you know, if MTV was kind of like, if you had a station that was nationally programmed that really was encompassing what MTV showcased last night, that would be the Pulse. So whoever programmed that show yesterday, whoever produced that show, did a really good job of that. And I think that's something that's got to be said, where it's the same way where BBC does. And this is where I feel bad about what MTV has to go and stick to, you know, doing shows like Teen Mom and Flora Obama Shore, because whoever does the work of these music video ends, and then the MTV Push campaign to allow Lotto or St. John to be featured, you know, the things that they're doing on the musical end, it's good. And I feel like if MTV did have, I mean, it did have music channels, but if they did have a bit of the presence that they had before, like maybe not so much where it's going to be over on I just feel like there's some things that they do on the music side, whether it is playlists or whether it is a radio station that's either, you know, wherever, put it on Sirius, put it on online, something. They're on playlists, whether on Spotify, Pandora, whatever. If they put that branding out there and try to make it more identifiable as a music platform. Like MTV has such a great brand for that, which is why when they decided to bring back Behind the Music, they put it under the MTV logo, not VH1. Because we know that VH1 in the last few years has very gone reality, and they're not even close to what they were before. But MTV, people will still look to MTV as the Pulse, because that show every year is the one show that gives us that. When you look at who they have and look what they offer, it's great stuff. And that's what I think needs to be understood. When you look at what they do, that's what needs to be looked at. I mean, regardless of the gossip or the other things that are going on, it was a really good show. Another 3-hour show that went by. And also, whoever does the advertisements, you know, getting things put together. Ed Sheeran performing on stage, or Alicia Keys performing at what was it, Brooklyn something park, I forget what it was. And, you know, tying in, you know, first of all, Burger King doing a new ad campaign, whether it was Nelly or Anita that were part of, like, you know, new meals are doing the same thing McDonald's does. Ed Sheeran, part of the Toyota campaign. You know, it was just those certain things they were doing that were just good tie-ins. I just thought they did a good job of getting the advertisers over and the sponsors for an event like that. Now, what I don't know is what they did in terms of how the show did, and if people actually did look at it and say, okay, you know what? The show did very well. We were very overwhelmed by how well it did. But there was quite a few newsworthy moments that they put in the show, some memorable moments. They did a good job. Like the stage, the setup of the stage at the Barclays Center, the music, it was very fast-paced. Whoever produced this show did a really damn good job. It was solid, and that was wonderful. So I got to give them credit for that. I thought who they chose for music, what they did, was a good swath of mainstream America and what the music is that everybody's listening to right now, especially through streaming, especially through YouTube. Not so much radio is, but of course they're kind of giving to radio because of some of the songs they had. They at least had to be songs that were already charting on the radio, which, you know, part of it is, you know, it's what they kind of do. You know, radio can't be left behind altogether, even though it's been so antiquated and so bad for so long. But nevertheless, I'm going to leave it there. And I'm probably talking more about this on the Broadcasters podcast to really just kind of go along and, expand more on what this means and what MTV means to the brand, and how this should be kind of followed along for other music, for other radio or streaming outlets to kind of tackle and kind of piggyback on. Take kind of the model what MTV is, and somebody come up with something where it's not, where we can kind of have that platform was like what America Top 40 was supposed to be. That really encompasses what all music we have out there in the mainstream. So that, when somebody is doing very well and very popular, let's go ahead and put a spotlight on them. That's where I'm coming from. I'll leave it there, and I'll talk to you next time.